Hi, today we're going to talk about kidneys function. My name is Claudia Briones. So how they work? Kidneys perform the essential function of removing waste products from the blood, regulating the water fluids level. Next, we're going to see a picture that shows us the structure of kidneys, the inner structure and the outer structure. We also have a video explaining how it takes place. So let's listen it.
I'm going to draw for you two of the most important organs in our body. And actually, on the left and right side of our body, pretty much look like little kidney beans. In fact, that's what they are. They're kidneys. They have arteries, the renal arteries that flow into them. Renal is just another word referring to kidneys. And we've got renal veins with blood flowing back out of them. So once the blood is headed back to the heart, we call it a renal vein, and there are two of them. And probably the most important part about these kidneys, certainly the thing that makes them really unique, is that they have these ureters. And the ureters drain urine into a bladder. And actually, I'll draw that right here. That's the bladder. And the ureters are the third tube coming out of our kidneys. And then when you're ready to urinate, you can release all the urine into the outside world. And so there are three basic things I want you to remember coming in and out of the kidneys: the renal arteries and the renal veins and the ureter. Now, to really make sense of it, you got to think about how the artery might split up. So let's say we go back to the artery and you follow it, and it starts kind of branching. Let's say it makes 5 little branches, and then we have more branches off of those branches, and finally even some more branches. And eventually it's not even an artery anymore, right? All these little branches are so tiny, you would call them arterioles. And let's just take this little guy, and let's see when I take that little guy and show you on the left side of the screen what that would look like. So let's take a look at this arteriole a little bit closer. So this is our...
Here we have the draw of the unit of the kidney, that is the nephron. We have the nephron that have an efferent arteriole that comes from the renal artery, and we have an efferent arteriole. And we have also a capsule, the Pons capsule, that rounds the glomerulus. And the next for the next page that we're going, or the next topic we're going to talk about, is the nephron and how it functions and what are the functions that it has and what happens if it damaged. Here we are seeing that the name of the capsule is the Bowman's capsule. Bowman's is a man from England, and he explained the function of the capsule. That's a flag. And we are also want to thank to the boy that could explain this through a video from YouTube. Thank you very much for if you're seeing it. So here we go for our next page that talks about the nephron function. So the nephron The kidneys receive blood through the renal artery. The blood is passed through the structure of the kidneys called nephrons, where waste products and excess water pass out of the blood stream, as shown in the diagram below. Here we have a diagram explaining the function of the nephron and the parts of the nephron. They're going to be explained by another boy in this YouTube video. And here we have
the function of the nephron. In the anatomy series, we looked at the structure of the nephron. In order to get the most out of this video, I suggest that you make sure you're watching our anatomy series. If you haven't, you can check it out at handwrittentutorials.com. So I'll begin by drawing a nephron, and this nephron is a little less than anatomically correct. When we talk about the physiology of the nephron, it's easiest to draw it out like this. So the blood enters the glomerulus through the arteria here, or here. As the blood flows here, and then vaso recta, peritubular capillaries, elements of the blood get pulled into and out of system tubes. Major way in which stuff gets out of the blood into the nephron. Then, as this filtrate moves along the nephron, stuff can get added to it or removed from it. In general, more stuff gets removed from it than added to it. So I'll just these arrows. F is for filtration, R is for reabsorption, which is the movement of stuff back into the blood. S is for secretion, which is the movement of stuff from the blood into the nephron. And E is for excretion, which is on its way to the bladder. Let's by talking about filtration. The filtrate contains a lot of stuff, so I'm just going to talk about the most important ones. In general, the filtrate should not contain any large proteins, like albumin, or any red blood cells. The presence of these suggests a disease process, often within the glomerulus. Normal filtrate contains water, and within that water are many different solutes. Sodium and chloride usually move together, so in this video I consider them as one rather than listing them individually. There is also potassium, bicarbonate, glucose, amino acids, creatinine and urea. Creatinine and urea are waste products, and one of the main purposes of urine production is to remove products like these from the circulation before they build up and become toxic. If everything is working with your kidneys, per minute, per 1.73 meters squared, water will get reabsorbed so you don't dehydrate. Now let's look at what happens in the proximal tubule. Here we get reabsorption of potassium, sodium chloride, and bicarbonate. And it's important to note here, 65% of the sodium chloride and 65% of the water that was filtered is reabsorbed. Furthermore, about 100% of the amino acids and glucose that were filtered are reabsorbed because these are important nutrients for the body, and it would be wasteful to excrete them. Too much bicarbonate would cause you to become very acidotic and therefore very ill. Secreted in the proximal tubule are uric acid, which is another nitrogenous waste product, and also organic acids, which include many antibiotics. This is the way in which they are removed from the body. It does this by reabsorbing water in the descending limb, which is highly water permeable, and then reabsorbing 25% of the filtered sodium lake in the ascending limb. This means that what we are left with is a higher concentration of waste products such as urea. In the distal convoluted tubule, we reabsorb about 5% of the filtered sodium chloride and some water. You can see that when the nephron reabsorbs water, it's by movement of sodium chloride, which the water follows due to the osmotic gradient. In the distal tubule, some potassium and some hydrogen ions are secreted. This means move back into the nephron. So the simple way to think about the nephron is that the proximal tubule does most of the reabsorption and secretion. The loop of Henle does the concentration, and the distal tubule does the fine-tuning. This brings us to the collecting duct. And here, one last bit of reabsorption occurs. Some urea, about 5% of the filtered sodium chloride, and some water are reabsorbed. And this leaves us with excretion. The components of excretion are mainly water, sodium chloride, potassium, bicarbonate, creatinine, and urea. And note that creatinine is not reabsorbed or secreted along the nephron. This is used as a marker of the glomerular filtration rate.
Here we have two hormones that have a function in the last tube of the nephron. We have aldosterone, and we have also the ADH or vasopressin. We know that vasopressin controls the volume of water in our bloodstream, and it also controls the pressure of our blood. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and here we have some rights of the one who gave the tutorial, and thank you for the video. To our next topic about the kidneys, we are going to talk about the kidney disease. And first of all, we have the chronic kidney disease. So let's see what the chronic kidney disease has for us. What it's going to say about this disease. So let's.
The kidney is an organ that performs several crucial functions in the body.
The major function of the kidney is to filter out all the toxins in our bodies, and it does that via this very elaborate network of
filters about 150 liters of blood a day, reabsorbs 99% of that. You make about 1 liter. When it filters blood, it then reabsorbs all of the molecules that are of value to blood. So it is a tremendously adaptive filter. It also is the main regulator of blood pressure for the whole body. And finally, it provides major for blood production. And so all of those things go on in a very intricate, integrated fashion that's highly regulated within it.
But when the kidneys fail, the body's internal balance starts to collapse, and most people don't even know it's happening.
It's basically a painless disease as far as the kidney, and that's one of the problems. This is a silent disease. It's not like a myocardial infarct or heart attack. This is silent, and so it can progress severely. What they will present with late in the course is lethargy, weakness, appetite, edema of the lower extremity, swelling at the ankles and above. Patients don't begin to experience symptoms until down to about 30% of their
Simple blood to be used to measure GFR, glomerular filtration rate, which indicates the level of kidney function. Diabetes is the primary cause of chronic kidney disease, and high blood pressure is the...
So thank you for the video. And here we have another kidney disease. This is going to be the diabetic nephropathy. Now let's listen about it and how it takes place. Let's see.
Is exposed to very high pressures. And of course, this is an option to allow the kidney to make an ultrafiltrate. Under pressure, we are extruding plasma from the glomerulus into the catheter, into the renal tubule. Now, one of the adaptations that allows our glomerulus to withstand those pressures is the fact that we tightly regulate those pressures by vasoconstricting and vasodilating the arterioles on both sides of the glomerulus. So again, having smooth muscles in the arterioles on both sides of the glomerulus allows the kidneys exquisite control and provide a very narrow range of pressures within the glomerulus, between like 50 to 70 millimeters of mercury. Whereas systemically, the range of pressures between within systemic capillaries is going to be much wider. Now, I want to introduce now another adaptation that the kidneys have, the glomerulus has, to withstand these very high intracapillary pressures. And this is called the mesangium. The mesangium is a collection of cells, a small bit of tissue that sort of lays.
And this is the final or the end of this presentation, and thank you for seeing it. Bye.